one of the most difficult decisions you're going to have to make is making the decision to start letting go, and to ask God for the wisdom to know when to let go and what you need to be letting go of. I am reading from my book Necessary, and this chapter is called I Won't Apologize for Going Higher. Now, you're listening to part 3, so if you missed part 1 and 2, I strongly suggest you pause this video, go and listen to those parts, and then come back. Because that first part was about stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. Stop being worried and concerned about what other people think. And the second part was about stop looking backwards because you're heading forward. And now this third part is called letting go. It's time to start letting go. So I'm going to pick up from where I left off. As I began to focus on how I could use my gifts and talents to serve God, I had to allow God to transform me, even when it upset others. One of the biggest hurdles I had to overcome was letting go by allowing people to think whatever they choose to think about me as I began to set healthy boundaries in my life. I had to let go of responding to accusations about my character. I had to let go of desires and activities that held me down. I had to let go of the fear of disappointing those I love by not remaining in the boxes they built for me. I had to let go of past failures and try again. And most importantly, I had to let go of me. I had to die to my pride, arrogance, and what I thought was best for my life by placing God in the driver's seat and trusting his navigation. There's a time in life when we must spiritually mature from milk to solid foods. And I'm referencing 1 Corinthians 3:2, so make sure you write that down. Simply going to church and praying a few times a week did not satisfy my desire to walk closer with the Lord. I needed more of him and less of me. And that's John 3:30. I had to go higher in my prayer life, and higher in my worship and praise to him. That was not easy to do because I experienced many hardships and setbacks. And the thought of trusting God's master plan for my life without me approving the blueprint was a scary concept. But I couldn't stay low. I couldn't continue to simply wonder what my life would be like if I truly threw off everything that hindered me and aimed for higher grounds, a higher prayer life, a higher mindset, a higher version of myself that completely transformed my life. I'm going to stop right there. This section on letting go is very important because when I was writing, I was thinking through, wow, there was a time in my life when I had to let go of me. I had to let go of what I had in mind. I had to let go of by allowing people to think whatever they chose to think about me. You know how sometimes you can spend too much time getting hung up on just mess that has nothing to do with your destiny, right? Who cares what somebody say about you or what somebody think about you, what somebody said or what they do? I literally remember, and I distinctly remember having a conversation with someone. We were sitting at a table, and I just distinctly remember she was talking about something, and I just remember just completely shifting that entire conversation. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to participate in any fruitless conversations that have nothing to do with my destiny. I literally remember making that decision. I have to let go of every single thing that is holding me back from moving forward. I don't have time to be watching all these movies and mess on television. Now, if you guys know me, I've never been a big television watcher. Is that right? Television watcher? But anyway, I think I can say it like that. But I've never watched much television, right? And I can't even remember when I've had my radio on. It's just not something that I do. I don't listen to a lot of, secular music or whatever. But the point is, I remember making that decision. I got to let go of some things. I can't keep going around trying to defend my character, trying to make somebody like me. I wonder, what are they going to think of me? I had to let all of that go, and I had to go higher by going deeper in my walk with God. And that's going to be my next section, which is called Go Higher. I had to let go. And some of you, the reason why you haven't moved forward yet, you haven't quite let go. And I really hate to tell you this, but sometimes it's letting go of what you had in mind. Now, this can be for personal development or professional development. And for any of you walking through the necessary retreat with me right now, And by the way, that door is wide open for you all. If you're bold enough to spend 3 to 4 months with me, because that's how long it takes to walk through the entire necessary retreat, you're going to find we're going to get to that section. Very tough section to deal with. Sometimes you have to let go of even what you had in mind. What if God has a whole different plan in mind for you? And I said this in the last section. That's why some of you all are uncomfortable. Some of you right now watching me on camera this very moment, you've been in a career for a very long time. Everybody know you as that person, that HR person, that whatever, name something, that teacher, that nurse, that whatever, right? But the problem is there's a calling. There's something, you feel it, you probably can't quite word it, but there's a calling to go higher, to do something different. I'm going to get into go higher in the next segment. And the issue is, it's not so much I don't know what to do. The true battle is, and I know this because I went through it, just so you know, the true battle is letting go and trusting that God is going to catch you. Letting go and trusting that his plan is a better plan. Now, I'm not saying be irresponsible and jump up and quit your job and just go running down the street. Not saying that. But I'm talking to you from experience. I've been a business owner for over 26 years. 31 years in the staffing industry, right? So imagine doing corporate presentations and interviewing people and doing that for a living for many, many, many years. And imagine God beginning to call on you, beginning to speak to you in that secret place. And imagine God beginning to tell you, I need all this pain and everything that I've allowed you to go through. I need for the world to see our relationship. And imagine you telling God, but I'm just a broken vessel. Like I'm struggling to have a relationship with you as it is. Right? That's what I was feeling in my moment. My finances is messed up. My marriage is messed up. My son is on his deathbed. Like, name something. My finances, my friends backstab and talk about. I mean, you get my point? And imagine God spending that time and talking with you in that secret place and saying, I need you to get out there. I want you to do a radio or podcast or whatever it is God may be telling you to do. Because I had my moment and I'm like, oh, no, I don't do social media, God. God's like, you do now. You do now. I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know how to do all that. Do it. Just get out there and do it. Well, what mic do I use? How do I? And I even have this right here. I literally had one of these little $12 little lav mics. That's about all I had. And I think somebody told me about this. I didn't even need this. Just started with my phone and just started talking. No followers. Don't know how to get anybody on to do anything. Don't even know how to put up a post and do all of this. And wasn't really trying to learn it too much anyway. I just wanted to do just a little bit so God can leave me alone. Maybe I'm just too honest with you guys, but I'm keeping it so real. I wanted to do just a little bit, so it was almost like, okay, I tried it, right? And God began to blow. I'm like, what is this? Who are these new subscribers coming in? He began to blow. Z, you don't understand what you were speaking. I was just thinking that. I was just praying on that, and you gave me your answer, and he began to blow. See, I'm in that same situation. He began to blow. See, I felt like giving up. He began to blow. See, I lost my son or my child. And now I'm without an excuse because here you are with what you're going through. You're showing me it's possible to still have a relationship with God. You get my point? You get my point? I had to let go of me. I'm still letting go of me, if I can be extremely transparent, because God keeps calling me higher. And if you're still listening to this podcast or watching me right now, you already know he's calling you higher as well. And baby, I wish I could tell you it would be easy to let go. I really wish I could tell you a shortcut, but I don't know of any. All I can tell you is God is a good God. His name will not be mocked. And there's something about his character that you have to know that when you obey him and you listen to him and you follow and do what he tells you to do, he will not allow you to fail. Because allowing you to fail makes him look like a failure, and his name won't be mocked. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to read one scripture. At the end of each of the chapters from my book, Necessary, I always end with a reflection, and then I end with recommended reading. And then I end with an assignment. There's an assignment question. So I'm just going to read one passage. And Ephesians 1, verse 4 through 5 says, "For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight." Now listen to this. in love, he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ. And that's Ephesians 1, 4 through 5, the NIV version. He predestined us. He predestined us. So all we have to do is surrender to his good will and walk as he commands. I'm going to read an assignment at the end of each chapter. There's some self-reflective like assignments, like questions for you to walk through. Now, if you already are a part of the Necessary Retreat, which I strongly advise that you all join. So much has changed with the Necessary Retreat even since I very first produced it. And the Necessary Retreat walks you through the entire book Necessary, but on a much deeper level, because there's mindset exercises, there's challenges. We have live group workshops where we're going to be on a Zoom call together as a group. And then we go deeper into some of these questions. But anyway, let me give you the third question that I have in here. The third question, the assignment in here says, can you identify any obstacles that prevent you from growing in your relationship with God? If so, be specific. Let me read that again. Can you identify any obstacles that prevent you from growing in your relationship with God? If so, be specific. That's really, really, really important to concentrate on. What's preventing you? What's stopping or stampering on your prayer life? What's preventing you from completely surrendering? You know, I just read to you all, I said I had to die to my pride and arrogance and what I thought was best for my life. It was my pride, because I wasn't trying to go down this road that God was showing me. I didn't even see how am I going to be able to make it financially going down that road? That don't make any sense to me. I'm not about to get out here and embarrass myself, right? I had to let go of that. I had to let God be in the driver's seat. And then I go on to say in here, and I've already read this, simply going to church and praying a few times a week did not satisfy my desire to walk closer with the Lord. I needed more of him and less of me. What is preventing you from having more of him and less of you? And then I go on to say I had to go higher. It wasn't easy to do, but I couldn't stay low. So if you're still listening to me right now, it's probably because you feel the same way. Enough is enough. You can't stay low any longer, and it's time to rise. I welcome you all to join the Necessary Retreat at my website, unlockinggreatness.com. But even if you choose not to do that, you get to choose whatever you want. More importantly than any retreat you can join, than any mentorship program you can get into, more importantly is you dive and go deeper in your walk with God. You dive and go deeper, which is why in the very first part of the entire Necessary Retreat, we mainly focus on you going deeper in your walk with God, figuring out who you are, challenging you on your prayer life, helping you to understand, do you see how God sees you, and how do you see yourself in the eyes of God? So I challenge you all. It's time to let go and move forward. I love you all. You're listening to Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Stay tuned, because part 4 will be the next one that I release. I love you all. Bye-bye.